start to the school year for JCPS, but some families are still hoping that some of their bus routes could make a comeback when district leaders say that could happen and the roadblocks they're facing.
I mean, I would say it's kind of like a movie, or if like I'm watching a police chase on YouTube. Seeing it in person, it was kind of just surreal.
Yeah, I'd say a man facing charges after a multi-county chase in Kentucky in a semi. More from the man who says he saw it all go down. And some Louisville bar and restaurant owners are concerned about an ordinance to crack down on violence. They say it's negatively impacting their business. A look at what they want local leaders to do. It's coming up right now on Wave News Sunrise.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Hi there. September 4th on this Wednesday. Tawana is back from her time off, and we have some nice weather, huh?
Yeah, we have some of that summer-like weather coming back our way. It's nothing too far from what we typically should see at this time of the year. No crazy hundreds, thankfully, in the forecast. Now, what we are dealing with temperature-wise right now, seeing 50s and 60s across the majority of the region. 58 in Salem, now down to 68 at the airport in Louisville, 66 for those of you in Fort Knox, 64 in the Campbellsville, and same thing for those of you in Lebanon. Across the metro, seeing temperatures ranging from 62 degrees in Sellersburg to 63 in Fairdale, 61 right now in Crestwood. We do have these mid to upper level clouds overhead right now. We're going to keep these around as the day goes along. So for the ride in, for lunch, and for the ride home, we're going to keep those clouds in the forecast. Keep in mind, a little bit more sunshine expected as we head into the afternoon hours, with temperatures today getting into the mid to upper 80s for your highs. Now, there is that potential for a stray shower or two as the day goes along, especially for those of you west and south of Louisville, but most of us should be a-okay for today. And as we look ahead, we're talking about those summer-like temperatures returning to the forecast, especially as we head into tomorrow and Friday. And speaking of Friday, some rain chances, much-needed rain chances coming our way then. But behind that, we do have a true taste of fall. Some of us are going to be seeing lows in the 40s as we head into the weekend, Olivia.
Oh, I'm so excited for fall. It's my favorite. Something else that's my favorite is good traffic conditions. You can see right now everything is still really dark out there, but our roads are looking fairly empty. I guess it's a short week for a lot of people, and taking it easy for that morning commute. Everything's looking good. Our traffic map is showing that everything is green right now. Let's keep it that way because it's looking good for a Wednesday morning. Shannon.
Thank you, Olivia. JCPS won't add back bus service for students just yet. District leaders gave us an update on their progress to try to add more drivers to bring back some routes. Josh Ninke live this morning with an update. Josh.
Yeah, Shannon, the goal was to have 60 new drivers certified and ready to go so they can start their training. The problem is right now, the district only has 24. Now, these are the TARC bus drivers who are moving to JCPS after budget cuts with the Metro. Now, they have to achieve an S certification with the state. The district has only added 8 more drivers since the plan was announced 2 weeks ago. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio says they haven't changed the plan just yet.
It's a little slower going than we want to go, but we're continuing to work with them. We have a lot testing this week and next week. I can't bring back a recommendation until we get to that number of 60. Once we get there, I can, whether that's a special meeting or a meeting that is on the schedule.
Now, Polio was pretty optimistic that they can still hit that goal. And a reminder, this wouldn't bring back routes for every single family. This would only be for students at Johnson Traditional Middle School, as well as Coleridge, Taylor, and Young Elementary Schools. It would also apply to free and reduced lunch students at Butler, DuPont Manual, and Mail. Now, the goal is to have service back for these students after the end of fall break. We'll, of course, let you know if that happens. Live here at the Van Hoos Education Center, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Thanks, Josh. Property owners could soon pay a lower rate to JCPS. The school board approved a tax decrease. The new rate, now 73.5 cents per $100 of assessed value. That means for every $100,000 of a home's assessed value, homeowners are paying $735 in taxes. The rate was previously 76 cents per $100 of assessed value. Even though the rate is decreasing, combined with higher property assessments, the district district says they will bring in $31 million in additional funds. Those will help support employee raises, facilities, and the general operations of JCPS. JCPS is taking another step to build the first new middle school in West Louisville since the 1930s. The school board submitted a plan for the Kentucky Department of Education to approve the project and assignment of an architect and design and engineer. Hudson Middle School will be on the 20-acre property at 18th Street and Broadway. Molina Healthcare donated that property to the district in June. The school is expected to open in 2026, and it should include a healthcare center and a new JCPS central office. The Teamsters Union now explaining why they are against a proposed change to Kentucky's Constitution that would allow tax dollars to help form a school voucher or charter school system. Teamsters 783 wants people to vote no on Amendment 2. It will be on Kentucky's ballot this November. Supporters of the amendment say it will give families more control over their child's education by opening new opportunities at private schools or homeschooling. The Teamsters says tax dollars should be spent on public schools, and if passed, it could impact jobs.
Not only is this Amendment 2 bad for our students and our community, it is bad for our members as well. Teamsters 783 is proud to be a part of this broad coalition. The voucher amendment would be horrible for Louisville and bad for this state. It's not what is best for all kids.
Data from the National Alliance for Public Charter Schools shows 43 states have some form of a charter school system. New video shows a group of people taking over an intersection and doing donuts and burnouts outside of Iroquois Park. Now LMPD is promising to go after those responsible. The drivers took over the intersection for about 6 minutes. When police got there, people swarmed a police cruiser. About a half dozen people even jumped on the hood of the cruiser. Look at that, causing dents. Interim Police Chief Paul Humphreys says they are going to take away the cars from those who were doing donuts and go after anyone who was helping block the intersection.
Just because they left that night doesn't mean this is over with. The law allows us for up to a year to identify participants in that and still go and seize their vehicles. So if they think they got away, they need to think again.
Under a city law, LMPD can seize vehicles used for street takeovers or street racing for up to 6 months. At least 3 people have been arrested in connection to the street takeovers that happened across the city over the weekend. Marco Rivera, Ariana Rivera, and Jose Cortez Rivera are accused of doing donuts and burnouts. Court documents say LMPD's helicopter spotted them in a car at Cox Park on Saturday night. Police say they also found guns in the car. Police have not made any arrests, though, related to the street takeovers near Iroquois Park. The man police say led them on a chase in a semi is due in court today, and we're hearing from someone who says he saw that chase happen. Joshua Arledge is charged with fleeing and evading, receiving stolen property, and theft. Officers say they first started chasing Arledge in a stolen car on the Bluegrass Parkway. State police say he eventually ditched that car on Joe Prather Parkway and then got into a semi, as you see here. Officers followed that semi to a McDonald's on East Blue Lick Road in Bullitt County, and that is where one witness said he had to take cover.
When you're coming down East Blue Lick towards the McDonald's, I was just coming around the corner, and then you could see the semi-truck coming down Subway, and I was like, oh no, I need to get off this road just in case he tries to come at me. So I parked in the McDonald's parking lot, and then that's when you could see him go down East Blue Lick and then onto the grass area over here.
Well, Arledge is in the Hardin County Jail right now. Police say he was on heroin while behind the wheel. Bar owners and hospitality officials are calling for major changes to the noise ordinance. It was intended to help curb violence at late-night bars, but they say it's hurting business. Marissa Burke live this morning in the Highlands with more. Marissa?
Shannon, simply put, bar owners believe that this noise ordinance doesn't give bar owners enough guidelines and quantifying details before they get cited. Many bar owners say they've received emails and letters in the mail that say you've broke the noise ordinance and now you have to pay a $2,500 fine. They say there's no decimal number or meter to measure this. It's based on calls and complaints. This ordinance was put into effect last year to help curb violence at late night bars, and we've reported on many of those incidents. According to bar owners, there's not a relationship between noise and violence, and the ordinance is hurting their business.
One of the biggest tourism destinations, Bourbon City. People want to come here, have a good time, hear good live music in a safe environment. And if bars can't risk a $2,500 mandatory fine, then it doesn't justify having live entertainment.
Right now, the calls for noise complaints can be anonymous, which is another aspect bar owners would like to see changed. Later in Sunrise, you'll hear more on those changes and how soon they could come. Reporting in the Highlands, Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Thanks, Marissa. The city of New Albany is now requesting a construction permit that will allow it to remove a low-head dam on Silver Creek, where a teen died. Our partners at the News and Tribune report the Indiana Department of Natural Resources received a work permit last week. In the request, the city engineer says emergency maintenance was ordered following DNR's determination that the dam was a drowning machine and a risk to public safety. Mayor Jeff Gahan ordered emergency work at the dam in early August, but that was stopped after the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said working at the dam without a permit was a violation of federal law. A separate low-head dam in southern Indiana is about to be removed. Indiana American Water says it will remove the low-head dam on the East Fork of the White River near the company's Seymour treatment facility. The Rockford Dam originally pumped water from the White River to the water treatment facility. But now Indiana American Water uses groundwater only for its Seymour system, so the dams no longer need it. Demolition is expected to finish before the end of the year. It's 6:10. Here's Tawana taking us through the next 12 hours.
And as we head over the next 12, going to see our highs back in the mid to upper 80s for this afternoon. But we do have a few 90s in the forecast. I'll let you know when they look to show up and how long they look to last after the break.
Thanks, Tawana. And there's a new trend going around social media, and it has banks concerned. They say it can lead to fraud. What you need to look out for next. And Kentucky still looking to fill its 40th House district seat after a back and forth over whether a candidate can be on the ballot. We'll tell you about the lawsuit that was filed this week, coming up on Wave News Sunrise.
Now, Wave News.
It's 6:14 and breaking overnight, 2 police officers were injured during a shooting in downtown Phoenix. Olivia tells us about their conditions in this breaking news alert.
One of the officers was saved from serious injury because he was wearing his ballistic vest, but the other is in critical condition. That shooting happened after the 2 police officers spotted an individual who appeared to be breaking into a vehicle. The suspect fled and the officers chased him until they were fired upon. The 2 were taken to the hospital for treatment. Officers eventually tracked down the suspect and took them into custody. That person's name hasn't been released yet, but the Phoenix police chief said the department is committed to getting justice for its officers. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. A viral TikTok trend is encouraging people to commit something called money glitch, which is similar to check fraud. Videos posted to the app show people getting, quote, free cash from Chase ATMs by depositing checks made out to themselves for large sums of money. They then withdraw as much as they can without exceeding that sum, leading them to believe they had tricked the system. But Chase says this glitch is actually a form of criminal check fraud. And experts say when it comes to bank glitches, it is not your money, and when the bank figures it out, they will want it back. DirecTV is offering some compensation now to customers as the blackout of Disney-owned channels. The company is offering credits of at least $20 to customers who have DirecTV, but you won't get that money automatically. You have to go to directv.com/TV Promise and apply for it. It comes as Disney pulled ESPN and other cable channels it owns from DirecTV's lineup after 2 companies failed to reach a new distribution deal. If you are feeling lucky today, you still have a chance to win big. No jackpot winner in Tuesday night's Mega Millions drawing. So the jackpot now growing to an estimated $740 million. Wow. So no huge winner, but 2 tickets did match all 5 numbers Tuesday. Now the next Mega Millions drawing will be Friday night. So if you want to try to win, get that ticket. Here is Tawana right now as we're looking at winning weather for the weekend.
Yes, we're going to be talking about that fall-like weather coming our way then. But what we're seeing right now across the region, this boundary set up shop over southern Kentucky and into Tennessee, and we're watching the clouds drifting right along it. The other thing that we have to keep an eye on, some moisture off towards Memphis that's going to try to push our way as the day goes along. But right now we just have the mid to upper level clouds overhead, seeing some of them showing up on our SkyTrack camera as we look straight on into downtown Louisville. Your temperatures pretty comfortable in most spots this morning, seeing mainly upper 50s and low 60s, more of those 50s showing up for those of you in southern Indiana, ranging from 59 degrees in Paoli to 52. That's our cool spot right now in North Vernon. Our warm spot, the Metro at the airport, currently at 68 degrees. Now, our Futurecast shows that we're going to keep a lot of these clouds overhead, and we'll still watch for that potential for a stray shower or two as we head into the late morning and the early afternoon, mainly for those of you along and west of 65. As you get further into the afternoon, that potential for a little bit more of those isolated showers will shift further to the south of the parkways, but keep in mind, most of us will be dry today with just those clouds overhead, and we'll see highs for this afternoon in the mid to upper 80s. Getting into tonight, clouds starting to clear and temperatures will start to drop, eventually ending up in the 60s in most spots, but certainly cannot rule out a couple of locations dropping down into the upper 50s for tomorrow morning. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, we do have a lot to watch. We're going to be keeping an eye on that heat showing up for your Thursday and for Friday as well. In fact, as we head into tomorrow, highs back into the upper 80s and the low 90s. Then on your Friday, this is when we're going to start off with quite a bit of sunshine, but it does look as we head through the afternoon, starting to watch these clouds increasing out ahead of the cold front that will bring some much needed rain, with our best chance for rain looking to be Friday night into your Saturday morning. Now, behind that system, it's all about the cool fall-like weather. In fact, for both your Saturday and Sunday, we're still talking about highs in the low to mid 70s with our lows in the 40s in most spots. So that 50, 52 you see for Saturday night and Sunday night, that's for the airport. Everybody else will be well into the 40s for lows. Getting further into next week, we'll start to see those mid to upper 80s for highs returning our way as we keep the forecast overall pretty dry with the exception of Friday over the next 10 days.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Well, summer might be winding down, but it sure doesn't feel that way in some places. The Southwest facing record-setting temps. Utility companies say the LA and San Diego power grids are holding up, but they're asking people to reduce energy use between 4 and 9 p.m. Phoenix on a record-setting hot streak, 100 consecutive days above 100 degrees yesterday. Wow. They could set another record too this week with its 55th day above 110 degrees this year.
Out here till 7 in front of this hot 600-degree oven when it gets to full temp, all because we love the public. Really, if it's too hot or too cold, everybody stays home. So it's kind of bad for business.
Oof, yeah, and they always say, oh, it's a dry heat, but it's still hot. Parts of Texas experienced massive rainfall, and a driver here used his cell phone video to show how his SUV was submerged in a flash flood yesterday morning. Several cars also stranded. A firefighter had to tether a rope to drag the person to safety. The water in the area receded a few hours later, but good a reminder, remember that saying, turn around, don't drown. But I don't think I would be taking out my cell phone to record that. I'd be trying to figure out how to get out of the car.
How to get out of the car.
Right.
But if you know the firefighters are there, I guess you might as well just document it. But I'm glad to see that everybody in that situation is okay, because it does not always turn out that way. In terms of rainfall in our area, we could see a stray shower or two today, tomorrow, and a much better chance of rain as we head into your Friday night and Saturday morning with a cold front moving through them. Before we get to that point, highs today in the 80s, some upper 80s and low 90s for your Thursday and Friday. And then behind that Friday front, we are going to significantly cool down with highs only in the low to mid 70s for your Saturday and Sunday, with lows for most of us over the weekend in the 40s. Now, as we head through next week, it's going to be a gradual warm up, but it does look like by next Wednesday, we'll see those highs back in the mid to upper 80s.
Thanks, Tawana. Kentucky lawmakers are talking about ways to support working families across the Commonwealth. Kentucky Congressman Brett Guthrie participated in a roundtable talking about child care and supporting the workforce at the Elizabethtown Community and Technical College Blue Oval SK Training Center. Congressman Guthrie says Kentucky ranks in the bottom 10 in the country in workforce participation. Experts say there are over 300,000 children under 5 in Kentucky, and just over half have adults in their life in the workforce.
All the federal and state programs that are serving early learning needs right now and care needs are actually serving 20% of these children, 20%.
During the roundtable, Kentucky families also talked about their stories of how they have been impacted. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentuckiana says it wants to recruit 120 new mentors this year to help them reach more young people. It's part of their 120th anniversary celebration. Mentors take just a few hours of time each month to meet with young people one-on-one. The organization says they're also looking for donations on September 12th, which is Kentucky and Southern Indiana's most generous day of giving. The organization will match all donations up to $15,000. And if you'd like to apply to be up big, you can go to bbsky.org. As a former big, I can say it is very wonderful to get involved. JCPS students have been back in school now for weeks, but district leaders are still looking at the transportation deal. Can they get buses down? The latest on that coming up on Wave News Sunrise.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Hi there on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for waking up with us here. I'm Shannon alongside Tawana, and we were commenting, looks pretty active out there this morning.
Everybody's up and getting ready to go for this morning. And for anyone who's maybe, wrapping up their holiday weekend, hey, things are looking pretty good.
Nice.
For those of you heading out
today. If you could extend it that long, I'm jealous.
Shout out to you. But yeah, for this morning, things are quiet out there. Temperature-wise, right around average for this time of the year, as we're seeing plenty of those low 60s across Wave Country. 64 for those of you in Lebanon, and into Campbellsville, 59, a little bit cooler in Paoli. Our cool spot still North Vernon, holding on to 52 degrees. Across the metro, here's what we're dealing with. 61 for those of you in Sellersburg, 64 in Fern Creek, and for those of you over into Buckner, good morning. It is 65 degrees. Same thing for those of you in Lanesville. Now, we have some clouds overhead right now, yes, and we're going to keep an eye on some moisture trying to drift our way as the day goes along. Notice one lonely shower well up towards our southwest trying to form, and we'll keep an eye on a few of those as we continue through the morning and into the afternoon. But overall, just mainly keeping some clouds overhead for today. Some more of that sunshine trying to get through those clouds, by the way, for the afternoon as we climb into the mid to upper 80s for highs. Now, for those of you who love some 90s, we do have a little bit of that coming our way in the forecast. We'll talk about that, plus some much needed rain in just a bit. Olivia?
And Tawana, you all were talking about how it's starting to get more active out there on the roads. It is, but right now it's not causing any issues out there. Everything seems to be rolling smoothly. Everyone is behaving. No crashes, no stalled vehicles. You'll love to see that. And our metro traffic cameras are showing, again, starting to see that increased traffic a little bit this morning, but it's been such an easy morning. Shannon?
Thanks, Olivia. Thousands of families across JCPS still have to take their kids to school because the district cut their bus routes. District leaders say they are behind on a plan to bring back some of those routes. And Josh Schninke live this morning with more on what they're saying. Josh.
Yeah, Shannon, JCPS is trying to add more drivers so they can bring back some of their routes. The magic number they're looking for is 60, but right now all they've got is 24. District leaders gave us a bit of an update last night. They're working with about 60 TARC drivers who got cut because of budget issues with the Metro. And here's the thing, they can't just start driving for JCPS. They have to get certified first. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio was hoping they'd be further along by now, but he says there is still some good news.
Kids are getting to school on time, and that's important. And we have to say, when kids are late to school, it's going to affect student outcomes. And so we have addressed that, and we think, we're seeing good numbers, but we do want to add back, but we can't do that until we feel we can do it successfully.
Now, the goal is to have everyone trained and ready to go when kids get back from fall break, which wraps up in about a month. And a reminder, this wouldn't bring back routes for every single family. This would only be for students at Johnson Traditional Middle School, as well as Coleridge, Taylor, and Young elementary schools. It would also apply to free and reduced lunch students at Butler, DuPont Manual, and Mail. Of course, we'll keep you posted and let you know if the district makes it to that magic number 60. Live here at Van Nuys Education Center, Josh Schninke, Wave News.
Thanks, Josh. We are hearing from students who are on a Kentucky school bus that hit and killed a 15-year-old who was trying to cross the street. The Clark County, Kentucky coroner says 15-year-old McKenna Letcher was crossing Veterans Memorial Parkway where there is no crosswalk when a bus hit her, and she died. She was a freshman at George Rogers Clark High School. The superintendent of the school district says the bus was part of a district route, and a student who was on the bus described what she saw.
We sit in the very back of the bus, and the little biddies always sit up front. So we basically saw everything in full detail. It was very, very scary. And then you also have these other little biddies. They're just trying to keep them occupied up there so they don't look at any of it.
Well, counselors will be at the school to help students and staff. And we're looking at nationwide school bus crash numbers. The National Safety Council uses these numbers collected by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They estimate about 484,000 school buses provide transportation service daily in the U.S. The most recent numbers indicate school bus-related crashes killed 104 people nationwide in 2022. Between 2013 and 2022, about 71% of the deaths in school bus-related crashes were people inside other vehicles. 16% were pedestrians, 5% were bus passengers, and 4% were school bus drivers. Kentucky ranks 21st for most school bus crashes and deaths. Texas, Florida, and Georgia have the highest number of crashes and fatalities. City leaders put a noise ordinance in effect a year ago trying to reduce the violence that's plagued Louisville, but now some bar owners say that ordinance is hurting their business and it's not doing anything to crime. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke live in the Highlands this morning with what they want to see happen. Marissa.
Imagine getting a bill in the mail and not knowing where it came from and why. That's how bar owners feel under this new noise ordinance. They say that they get cited without any kind of documentation or even an ABC officer coming to their business. The penalty for breaking the noise ordinance is a $2,500 fine, and that doesn't include the legal fees to challenge it. Like, just for an example, one owner says he spent $14,000. This ordinance was put into effect last year to decrease violence at late night bars. Bar owners don't believe there's a correlation between noise and violence. For the ordinance to work, owners believe major changes need to happen.
We want there to be a quantifying, clarified footage away from the building, preferably 100 feet. We want there to be a decibel level, which if you're above, you can be found guilty. There has to be documentation of a violation, whether it's body cam footage, video cam, some type of measurement device to measure sound decibels.
Another ask of bar owners is that noise complaint calls cannot be anonymous. They would like those to be verified people and issues and not disgruntled customers or employees. A timeline to see changes to this noise ordinance could happen as early as mid-fall. Reporting live in the Highlands, Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Thank you, Marissa. Mayor Craig Greenberg announced a new way Metro government workers can report sexual harassment in the workplace. All Metro workers can now make reports to the Family Scholar House along with the current methods to report it. The changes follow sexual harassment claims within LMPD. The Family Scholar House is a local nonprofit that provides services to families in the area. The mayor says Metro government will only be informed and begin an investigation if the caller gives their permission.
We want to make it very clear that we take sexual harassment allegations very seriously. It's unacceptable. And we want anyone who's experiencing that to have an option outside of Metro government if that will help them feel ready to come forward.
Metro government recently strengthened their policies to address sexual harassment. Those changes include increased support to victims before, during, and after a complaint, providing broader and better training on sexual harassment, and making it easier to report sexual harassment. The legal battle over Kentucky's 40th House District still not over. Tuesday, a new lawsuit was filed against current Representative Nima Kulkarni and other state leaders to try to prevent Kulkarni from ending up on the ballot this November. It started earlier this year when Kulkarni's predecessor, former Representative Dennis Horlander, filed a lawsuit saying Kulkarni was not eligible to run in the primary because of a filing error. The Kentucky Supreme Court ruled in favor of that lawsuit in June. But by August, it looked like the dispute was over when Secretary of State Michael Adams ruled each party would nominate their own candidates for the general election in November. Kulkarni was selected by Democrats as their candidate on Friday. But now Horlander and Kulkarni's only challenger for the seat, William Zeitz, is suing again to say she should not be allowed on the ballot at all. The lawsuit says, in part, Ms. Kulkarni's nomination for the November 5th, 2024 general election is in error, in violation of law, and must be set aside. She is not and cannot be a bona fide candidate. But Kulkarni's attorney is offering this response, saying, "We will continue to defend Representative Kulkarni's nomination. Voter intent has been clear throughout this process. She was nominated by nearly 80% of her district, and she was chosen again by her party last Friday." It is 6:39. Here's Tawana taking a look at the next 12 hours.
And looking a little bit closer into the Portland neighborhood for your forecast today, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the 80s and watching for a few more of those clouds overhead. Now, we could see a stray shower or two as the day goes along. I'll talk about this week's rain chances after the break.
Breaking overnight, a major change in Ukraine's political leadership as the war with Russia rages on. Olivia tells us what's happening in this breaking news alert.
Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has resigned from his post, according to a statement by a parliament speaker this morning. The majority leader of Ukraine's parliament said yesterday that there would be major changes expected in the cabinet this week. So a move like this wasn't completely unexpected, but he is one of the biggest moves so far. Other changes include the man who is in charge of weapons production and the justice, environment, and reintegration ministers. Ukraine's parliament will consider the foreign minister's resignation at one of its upcoming meetings. Shannon.
Olivia, thanks. Well, between the end of summer and the long Labor Day weekend, a lot of families have been outside, especially doing water-related activities. But it turned into carb chaos for one Kentucky family, and the whole thing was caught on camera. Take a look. Oh my gosh. This is the first time that we have seen this video and we are dying. Okay, the video is captured by Emily Carter of her family. They were out enjoying the water in Davies County. Look at their sweet little faces. So she and her husband Brandon take their kids, second grader Reese, preschooler Henry, and Thomas, the youngest, out on a John boat for the Labor Day holiday. So they're out in the water, not even for 2 minutes. She said the fish were jumpy, and that's when that happened.
Oh.
Let's see it one more time.
Oh, poor kid. They're all okay, by the way. Everybody's okay. This is why we're...
Yeah, they're all okay. So she posted it on TikTok. It's gotten more than 50 million views. You can see why. She says the kids actually love fishing, but that is crazy.
His little feet just went straight in the air. Poor
and that was a huge fish.
Oh, I'm so glad they're okay.
I know. You would not expect that.
No, just, like I know that carp get jumpy, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Just took the whole toddler out. Poor thing.
But good thing they were wearing vests.
Yes. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly.
In this kind of situation.
Wow.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either. My heart's racing and I'm trying really hard to hold in the laughter. For anybody maybe doing fishing in the next couple of days, I'll talk about the forecast for that in just a bit. Good morning, meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your forecast. We do have high pressure in control, but this boundary nearby, what it's doing is help to push a lot of these clouds straight into our area, and we'll have to keep an eye on some extra moisture that's off towards Memphis that's going to try to move towards us as the day goes along. But as of right now, we're quiet just with these mid to upper level clouds overhead, and they're making for a pretty interesting sunrise. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see it. This is what the sky looks like as we look off towards the east from downtown Louisville. So the clouds overhead, see that sunlight coming off over the horizon in the distance. A gorgeous but kind of creepy look to start off the day. Temperatures right now sitting in at the 60s for most of us. 61 in Corydon, 64 for those of you in Campbellsville, 63 degrees in Frankfort, 68 degrees, by the way, at the airport in Louisville. But for Southern Indiana, a little bit cooler, 50s for most of you, including North Vernon, which is still our cool spot at 52 degrees. Our futurecast shows that we'll have the clouds overhead as the day goes along, and yes, we'll see a shower or two or sprinkle, especially for those of you west of Louisville and south of Louisville as we head through the morning and into the afternoon. Most of us just dry. Now, we're going to keep an eye on those clouds still overhead for the afternoon hours as temperatures climb into the mid to upper 80s, but we'll see a little bit more of that sunshine trying to come our way then. We can see a sprinkle or shower later on in tonight as the clouds start to clear, but most of us, yet again, dry, with temperatures returning to the 60s for your lows. As we look ahead to the next 10 days, we are going to watch your temperatures heating up a little bit. For tomorrow, highs back into the upper 80s and low 90s, plenty of sunshine. And yes, I know it looks like Friday is going to be a stormy day with highs near 92, but actually most of the day will be quiet with quite a bit of sunshine for your Friday. It's not till the late afternoon and evening that we start to see the clouds increasing, and then with that cold front moving through Friday night into Saturday morning, that is when we have the best chance to see some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms coming our way. So we're going to closely watch those Friday night rain chances. We do need the rain, thankfully not expecting anything severe as of right now. Behind that system, the cooler air will take over. In fact, for both Saturday and Sunday, we're talking about highs only in the low to mid 70s. That's it. For your lows Saturday night and Sunday night, most of us will be in the 40s. So really feeling like fall over the weekend. And once we get into next week, notice we start to warm right back up. It will not take very long for those highs to get back into the mid 80s by next Tuesday, upper 80s by next Wednesday. Some models are trying to push us back into the 90s towards the end of next week, but as of right now, we're going to keep those highs in the 80s, but don't be surprised if you see that changing on the Wave Weather app.
Thank you. All right, this is an odd story here, but you can see why this Louisville homeowner is really frustrated. He says he's been targeted again by a man who's been pooping on his porch. The homeowner says the man went back to his house 2 times over the Labor Day weekend. The homeowner says Sunday the man came over in the middle of the night, did the act, and then left, the act being pooped. The homeowner put up some sonic alarms and cat litter the next day, but it seemed to deter him when he returned on Monday because he ran away. If you know anything about this person here, that's weird. Contact police at 574 LMPD. Wow. Louisville Metro Housing Authority says it is receiving reports of scams targeting people who rely on their services. The Housing Authority says the scammers are after personal information like Social Security and bank account numbers. The Housing Authority says it will only make contact using an email account that is on your screen right there. It will also never ask for cash or call you outside of business hours between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. You can report a scam by calling that number right there. Now let's check in with Olivia, taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world today. Is Olivia there? Okay. Let me go ahead and read it for you. 17-year-old in California will be in court after he was charged with attempted murder in the shooting of San Francisco 49ers rookie Ricky Purcell. This happened during an alleged robbery Saturday. Police say led to a physical altercation. Now, the player survived a gunshot wound to the chest. Amazing. He was released from the hospital Sunday. The 23-year-old, though, will miss at least the first 4 games of the NFL season. The Republican-led House Committee has subpoenaed Secretary of State Antony Blinken over the Afghanistan withdrawal. In the letter addressed to Blinken, they wrote, receiving the testimony was important for the committee members as they prepared potential legislation aimed at helping prevent the catastrophic mistakes of the withdrawal. Blinken is scheduled to appear before the panel September 19th. And Australian Olympian Rachel Regan-Gunn has apologized to the breaking community for the backlash caused by her controversial performance at the Paris Games. She insisted her record speaks to her being her country's best B-girl. Her first interview since her performance made international headlines, and it will air on an Australian network today. Her performance went viral as social media memes and skits recreating her dance exploded on the internet. It's 6:51. I'll have your wake-up watch list when we return. Here are the top stories we're watching in your wake-up watch list today. JCPS won't add back bus service for students just yet. The goal was to have 60 new drivers certified and ready to go so they can start with their training, but the district has only added 8 more drivers since the plan was announced 2 weeks ago. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio says he is optimistic they can still hit that goal. The man police say led them on a chase in a semi is due in court today. Officers say they first started chasing Joshua Arledge in a stolen car on the Bluegrass Parkway. State police say he eventually ditched the car, then got in the semi and led them to a Bullitt County McDonald's. He is charged with fleeing and evading, receiving stolen property and theft. And bar and restaurant owners across the city are now speaking out against noise violation policies in Metro Louisville. Many bars say they received an email or letter in the mail saying they broke the noise ordinance and have to pay a $2,500 fine. This ordinance was put into effect last year to help curb violence at late-night bars, but bar owners say there is not a relationship between noise and violence, and this ordinance is hurting their business, and it's not good for tourists and others. Let's go to Tawana right now, taking a look at the weather.
And we're seeing quite a few clouds overhead this morning. This is what all of us are dealing with to start off the day. This is what it looks like on our SkyTrack camera. The sun coming up gradually over the horizon in the distance. Very bright and beautiful start to the day for sure, even though we have those clouds overhead. Most of us sitting in those upper 50s and low 60s for your Wednesday morning. As we head over the next 12 hours, going to climb into the mid to upper 80s for your highs this afternoon. Watching for more of that sunshine showing up through the afternoon, and then more clouds clearing overnight as we return to the 60s for your lows. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, a little bit hotter for your Thursday and Friday before some rain chances come Friday night into Saturday morning.
Our traffic map is mostly green right now. 2 spots to point out here. Looks like the Snyder southbound near 64 is a little bit slow, and then 64 headed eastbound as you're trying to get across the Sherman-Minton Bridge is a little bit slow too. So not much for me to talk about, so we might as well just admire the beautiful sunrise there on our Metro traffic cameras.
Well, look at it.
I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Oh, I know. Someone needs to take a picture of it and then send it to us.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah,
put it in the Wave Weather
up.
app.
Yes. Hope you have a great day. The Today Show is next.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now.